When I was a kid, I was always in trouble for being bad. I couldn't sit still, be quiet, or do what I was told. Teachers called me obnoxious, rebellious, inappropriate, immature, told me I had no self-discipline, no self-control, and if I didn't fix those things, I was going to end up homeless and living in a van down by the river. Right? Sooner or later, they'd give up on me. They'd send me to the principal's office. I remember I was in 3rd grade, so I was 8 years old. They sent me to the principal's office. He sat me down in his lap, which seems questionable now, looking back on it. Pro tip during HR evaluation time, right? Just keep the people on the other side during annual evaluations. Keep them on the other side of the desk. But he told me a story about 3 kinds of bad people. He said, Dave, there's bad people, really bad people, people who are too far gone. I'm like, this is not a good story. It doesn't even have good people in it. He said, you're a really bad kid on the verge of being too far gone. You need to learn to sit still, be quiet, and do what you're told. And he was trying to help me because he had a worldview that said sitting still, being quiet, and doing what you're told are simple and fundamental skills. And if you can't do the simple and fundamental, you'll never be able to do the complex and difficult things that life requires. He was trying to help me by teaching me what his parents, his teachers, and his employers had taught him, which is that you need to fix what's wrong with you in order to be successful. And I'm not the only one who had trouble at school. Ken Robinson said many highly talented, brilliant, creative people think they're not because the thing they were good at school wasn't valued or was actually stigmatized. Language is really important, and he didn't say many highly talented, brilliant, and creative people thought they weren't. He said think they're not. That means they're 20 now, they're 30 now, they're 40 now, they're 50 now, they're 60 now, and they still don't know they're brilliant, talented, and creative. And there's a huge opportunity for people like you in this, to help those people discover that, and that's what I want to give you the opportunity to do tonight. Because many highly talented, brilliant, creative people think they're not because the thing they were good at school wasn't valued or was actually stigmatized. The thing they were good at, their strength, wasn't valued, it was ignored or denied, or it was actually stigmatized. We told them that the best thing about them, their brilliance, their talent, their creativity, was the worst thing about them. And for a lot of them, they still believe that's true. And that's what I realized as an adult. I was always in trouble because I couldn't sit still, be quiet, and do what I was told. And now I get paid to do 3 things. I get paid to stand up, not to sit down. I get paid to talk, not to be quiet. I get paid to run my own business, not to do what other people tell me to do. Every one of my biggest weaknesses turned out to be one of my biggest strengths. But I didn't know that. The people around me didn't know that. No one who was trying to help me knew that. My parents, my whole life, called me motor mouth because I talk too much. And the nickname was designed to shame me. It wasn't cute. It was designed to shame me into shutting up. If you ask my parents, they had one goal in life: get me to sit still, be quiet, and do what I was told. Now I'm a professional speaker. 2 years ago, I bought my parents a house with the money that I make as a professional speaker. If you talk to my parents now, they have a different story. Like, we always just knew Dave was special. You know, we just knew of all our 4 kids, Dave was the one who was going to do amazing things. That Dave, we just always were telling him, you go, Dave. You're just yourself. You just do that. We put no limits on him. We did not beat him half to death, right? They have a different memory, sort of what happened, right? And that's where I realized this truth. I realized it first in myself. What makes us weird also makes us wonderful. What makes us weak also makes us strong. And I started to wonder if that was true for other people, whether it was true for organizations, whether it was true for places. And I discovered that it was, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And I have a larger model, but we're going to kind of scale it down today. And one of the key principles is appreciation, that we succeed because of our weaknesses, not in spite of them. It's not that we're overcoming them to succeed. It's recognizing that we don't need to overcome them in order to succeed. We actually appreciate the things that people are telling us are wrong with them. And a simple example of this is dyslexia. George Eliot said, every limit is a beginning as well as an ending. And I want to show you the beginnings that come with the limits that we have. And so dyslexia means you struggle to read and you struggle to write. And if you struggle to read and write, you're going to struggle in school. And we've all been taught that if you struggle in school, you'll struggle in life, right? Which is why they were really surprised when they were studying millionaires in the United Kingdom and discovered that 50%, half of the millionaires in their study had dyslexia, even though only 10% of the people in the general population have dyslexia. They were studying entrepreneurs in the United States and discovered that 35% of the entrepreneurs in their study had dyslexia, even though only 10% of people in the general population have dyslexia. Ingvar Kamprad is the billionaire founder of IKEA. He has dyslexia. Richard Branson is the billionaire founder of the Virgin series of companies. He has dyslexia. And they actually asked him one time, how has dyslexia affected your success? And he said, strangely, I think my dyslexia has helped. See, what scientists are starting to realize is people with dyslexia don't have broken brains, they have different brains. And the same brain that causes them to struggle in school causes them to succeed in life at a higher level than most other people ever will. There was another guy, his name was Paul Orfila. He got kicked out of 4 high schools because of dyslexia and ADHD, so he went to work for family-owned businesses, got fired by his own mom and dad from family-owned businesses. So he started his own business. He called it something you may have heard of called Kinko. It's just a little thing that he did there in California. He recently sold it to FedEx for $2.4 billion. And here's the essence of appreciation. Here's what he said. He said, I think everyone should have dyslexia, right? You guys were putting up Drucker quotes earlier, and I cut one of them because of time, but I'm going to put it back in. Peter Drucker said, strong people always have strong weaknesses too. Where there are peaks, there are valleys. Strong people always have strong weaknesses too, where there are peaks or valleys. And appreciation is Paul Orfila realizing if I took away the valley, I'd lose the peak. If I took away the disadvantage, I'd lose the advantage. If you take away my weakness, I lose my strength. They're connected. I can't have one without the other, and I appreciate that. I feel wonderful, even though other people call it weird. I feel strong, even though people call me weak. I appreciate the whole of who I am instead of wishing I was something else.